This is my limited rulers assault mode deck. I would like to do more deck profiles where I actually explain certain, like explain why I play certain cards in the decks. A lot of it's self-explanatory, of course, but then there's the ones that need a little explanation. That way, some people don't assume that it's like, well, that was just thrown in there. It's like, oh no, it's there for a reason. A lot of the cards that I use don't always get played. Like, a lot of times I'll put a card into a deck that I may never ever summon. I might play the deck like 100 times and never summon it. But then, out of the blue, someone challenged me to a duel, and then I need that monster, and I'm glad I had it. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I might, like, my extra deck, I might have Heiratic Fortress in my extra deck, but I don't run Cyber Dragon. I might not even run not a single machine in my deck. But there might be that one incident, one moment where my opponent has a Cyber Dragon and a gadget on the field or something, and I got nothing. Hey, I got Heiratic in my extra deck. Send Cyber Dragon and the gadget to the graveyard, bang. Heiratic Fortress, attack for 2,000. You know what I mean? I might win the duel just by that alone. Actually, wasn't a duel where I won because of that, because I did have Heiratic and I took advantage of my opponent's Cyber Dragon. There was another duel where I should have had Heiratic in my extra deck. I forgot to put him in. He was supposed to be in it as part of the deck's design. And then I was in a scenario where my opponent had like 2 Cyber Dragons and Machina Fortress. I'm like, and I forgot Heiratic. No! See, this is why you're supposed to have it. Right? But anyway, down to the deck profile. Obviously, this is a Dragon ruler build, with the limited rulers. So, one of each, self-explanatory. There are 7-star non-tuners, and then of course I use 1-star tuners, and Synchro make Stardust. The whole goal is to make Stardust, so that's what I use them for. Plus, sometimes I summon them individually, to get some extra attacks in, so I can have more than one monster on the field. 3 assault modes, obviously. The boss of boss, the ace monster of the deck. The purpose of the deck and the goal of the deck is to summon Stardust Dragon assault mode. Flamvell Guards, 3 of them. 2,000 defense, fire, 1-star Dragon tuner, so I can Synchro. I could also use it with Blaster if I want. I could search out with Blaster. Malefic, Red Eyes Black Dragon. Since the Dragon rulers are limited, I needed more level 7s that I could special summon, so I can summon the 1-star tuner. Synchro makes Stardust. So, it was an obvious choice to substitute and upgrade it into a Malefic Red Eyes. Dragon rulers, they thin out the deck. That's one of the advantages of them. They thin out the deck so that way you get to your spells and traps faster. So by summoning Malefic Red Eyes, I can banish Red Eyes from my deck, thinning out my deck, getting closer to all my good spells and traps. Plus, it's the fact that it's just a free special summon. My opponent has a field spell, I can special summon it. If I have skill drain in the field, I can special summon it, and it won't destroy itself. Plus, I can summon other monsters, and then pretty much OTK. I could also special summon it, then special summon a Dragon ruler, overlay, make a rank 7. So that opens up a couple different plays, of course. Of course, the Red Eyes Black Dragons, because I need them in order to summon Malefic Red Eyes by banishing them. Also, it's my favorite dragon, so I'm a big fan of Red Eyes, so it only made sense to use Red Eyes in my deck in order to continue making Stardust Assault mode and continue running the limited ruler build. I also mill this when I use Dragon Shrine in order to get the Dragon rulers to the graveyard. Dragunity Corsesca, 1-star Dragon tuner, obviously. It can be searched by Tempest. My ace spell card, Bait Doll. Self-explanatory. If people didn't play traps, I wouldn't play bait though. That's the way I look at it. But since there's traps in the game, and my opponents can sometimes set 5 and end turn, you know what I mean? I gotta deal with that. So it's like, alright, I got bait though. I play it, goes back in the deck. Later, I draw it again, bait though, and you know, just constantly keep getting rid of that back row. Because you gotta take into consideration, if your opponent has 12 traps in their deck, or they even have more than 12 traps in their deck, 3 MSTs is not gonna cut it. You know what I mean? So you're gonna need a way to constantly be able to get rid of traps. You know, to get rid of them back row. And bait though does that job. Plus it shuffles my deck, so I have a better chance of drawing the stuff I need, like the dragon rulers and whatnot. So that way, I don't have bad top decks, as it were. MSTs, of course, gotta get rid of that back row. It's quick play, you know, obviously it's chainable. Comes in handy if somebody tries to, you know, Dark Simmergriff and Anti-Spell Fragrance me, I could chain, or they try to do the gift card combined with Bad Reaction Smoochie, MST Smoochie. I just gained 3,000. Gotta love that. I've had people rage quit just because of that. Just because I chained and gained the life instead of losing it. Even setting it so that way somebody can waste something like a Wingbeat of Giant Dragon and just, you know, it's like, oh, there you go. Wingbeat of Giant Dragon bait, MST bait. I've had people MST my MST, so, which was great because it protected what I didn't want to get MST. Of course, you can also use the MSTs to get rid of stuff that can hurt the deck. Obviously, you know, stuff like Goes and Match, stuff like Imperial Wall, so on and so on. You get the idea. You know how to use MST. Reasoning and Monster Gate. You know, obviously, I used to run Dragon Ravine, but they got banned. So until they unban it, I had to find other substitutes to get dragons to the graveyard, so I can banish them and, you know, summon and synchro and continue to play the deck the way I play it. I decided to use Reasoning, Monster Gate. I wish Reasoning was at 3 because I would run 3 instead of just 2 in the Monster Gate. It doesn't matter what my opponent calls. If he calls 7, not a big deal. I want the dragons in the graveyard anyway, so it's not a big deal. So it's not really a loss. So it's not really random. No matter what they say, it doesn't matter. I still get what I want, which is the dragons in the graveyard. Obviously, a very important spell card in the deck because it helps me control the dragons that go to the graveyard. Dragon Shrine, which is what really replaced Dragon Ravine. But, you know, the more ways I have of getting dragons to the graveyard, the better, so that's why I have Monster Gate and the 2 Reasonings. That way I have more and more chances of getting more and more dragons to the graveyard. Obviously, Dragon Shrine. Pitch a dragon from your deck. If it's a normal, pitch another dragon. Self-explanatory, I guess, right? Skill Drain. One of my ace trap cards. This in red screen and Stardust Assault mode, especially Stardust Assault mode. Those 3 cards on the field give me an advantage, give me a lock, so I have control of the duel. So Skill Drain doesn't stop Stardust, Colossal Fighter, or Stardust Assault mode because their effects apply outside of the field. Just like Dragostack, when you tribute him, applies out of field. A lot of monsters that apply out of field, but there's a lot of effects that I gotta worry about that are on the field. And I don't always want to use Stardust to stop a monster effect, like Stardust is almost to stop a monster effect. So obviously, Skill Drain is perfect because it's like just constantly makes it where my opponent has no effects, and all I have to do is just worry about his spells and traps and counter those things. Red screen makes it where my opponent monsters can't attack, but mine can. I pay, you know, I pay 1,000 at the end of every turn. That's not optional, blah blah blah. But it's worth it because it's also good against XYZs. It'll be good against superior summons and so forth. It'll be good against a whole bunch of monsters because it has nothing to do with levels. I used to play Gravity Bind. Still like Gravity Bind, but not every deck I can run Gravity Bind in because sometimes I do require the ability for me to use big high level monsters to attack. So red screen is necessary for those scenarios. Of course, assault mode activates because you can't make Stardust assault mode without it. My extra deck. Here I got Slacker Magician, number 11 Big Eye, number 22 Zombie Stein, and Heliopolis, the Sun Dragon, Heiratic Sun Dragon. Rank 1, 7, 8, and 8. There'll be moments where I need a strong monster. That's where Zombie Stein comes in. Sometimes I need a 4500. Because for some reason, let's say I have skill drain on the field, so Colossal Fighter can't get his usual power boost from the graveyard. So I gotta find a way to create a 4500. I have Red Dragon Archfiend in my extra deck, but 3000 is not enough. It's not enough to take down something like an Obelisk or something like that. So sometimes you just need a 4500. So that's why it's in the deck. Because sometimes I just need a beater that's strong. Slacker, in case I'm not getting, what I need. I rarely summon it. There's a couple times I did, but I rarely summon it. Because I always, the way the deck is built, I pretty much do make Stardust. So I don't have to use 2 tuners and overlay them. But she's there just in case I'm in that position that I have to. Big Eye, I make her more now than in the original build when I had 3 of each ruler. Because I use Malefic Red Eyes, so that balances out. That gives me the ability to make rank 7 a lot easier with less cards. So I make her a lot more than before. So I got Big Eye, obviously. As long as skill drains on the field, I can take my opponent's monsters. Heliopolis, gives me the ability to destroy multiple cards on the field, which is important. I gotta get rid of that back row, gotta get rid of them problem cards. Of course, you gotta have your 3 Stardusts, so that we can make your assault modes. Stardust Spark Dragon. It's good for a couple different reasons. Obviously, we know the effects, but when skill drains on the field, it really does nothing. It's just a 2500. But a lot of times I don't have my back row, to protect it. Like normally I would make Stardust set like red screen, for example, because red screen will protect Stardust from monsters that are stronger than it, and Stardust will protect red screen from being destroyed. So that way, I have a nice little defensive lock, so I can stall for the win, right? But sometimes I don't have the back row. Sometimes I just have a whole bunch of monsters and maybe an MST or something. So, I gotta be able to defend myself long enough to draw into the stuff I need. So then, Stardust Spark Dragon comes into play. But sometimes I combo Stardust Dragon and Spark Dragon together, to balance things out. Because typically somebody might like Dark Hole. All right, I use Stardust. All right, some of the big monsters, I attack your Spark Dragon. All right, I use Spark Dragon to protect himself. That's how I use them. Black Wing Dragon. Chain Burn. No other reason other than that. Gotta be prepared just in case. Scrap Dragon. Good just for clearing the field. That's Red Dragon Archfiend. But I plan to get Jewel Red Dragon and replace it. So that'd be pretty good. Because Red Dragon Archfiend is only really in the deck because it's a 3000 beater. When I get, Jewel Red Dragon will be better because it can deal with, stuff like Obelisk and whatnot. Monsters that are over 3000. And, of course, as long as skill drains on the field, I'll be able to use Jewel Red Dragon's effect. Plus the ability to get rid of big monsters and to be able to attack at the same time is very useful. Plus there's some monsters that can't be targeted by certain card effects. Like Scrap Dragon can't be targeted. Like you can't target them to destroy them or whatever. You get the idea. They can't be targeted like Albus, for example. So you need a kind of global destruction effect to get rid of them. So that's where Jewelry Dragon will come in handy. Ally of Justice, Light Gazer, Thought Ruler, Colossal Fighter, Crimson Blade, Colossal Fighter, obviously. Against it to use against warrior decks. The fact that it's a pretty good defense because it always comes back on its own by its own effect. Skill Drain does not prevent it from bringing itself back. Plus it's good to use it against, a monster that's 28. Bunk heads with it. Then bring Colossal Fighter back and attack directly, so that's always good. I always like doing that combo. Especially with Skill Drain on the field. It guarantees the Colossal will still be 28 when it attacks the monster. Crimson Blader, obviously, to lock, kind of like a Synchro version of Opion, basically. Thought Ruler, gotta gain them life points. I play Skill Drain, Red Screen, plus other cards. Then, of course, it has the ability to protect itself from cards that target it. Plus, it's dark, just like Ally of Justice and Colossal Fighter and Red Dragon, which will be useful for using to make Zombies time. Ally of Justice Light Gazer. It's to go up against light decks like Bujins, Light Swans, so forth and so forth, especially against Light Swans. Woo! Because you get 200 attack for every light monster in your opponent's graveyard. So if he has 10 light types in his graveyard, you just gain 2,000 attack. So then she'll be 4,400. So you gotta love that. So that's the main reason I play against light decks.